Over the weekend, the FBI was spotted in Ben Affleck's upscale neighborhood in the Pacific Palisades. But don't worry, they weren't there for the actor. The authorities were actually investigating something much bigger. It turns out the FBI's ground intercept task force was in the area, working with local sheriff deputies. They were on the lookout for unauthorized drone activity linked to the massive fires ravaging the area. It's clear this wasn't just about the fires themselves, but the chaos unfolding from the skies above. While photos obtained by TMZ showed FBI agents and Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies in the area, there's no confirmation that they were specifically outside Ben Affleck's home. The FBI confirmed that their agents, as well as local law enforcement, were actively involved in the investigation, conducting operations across the Pacific Palisades. The focus wasn't on the actor, but rather on a much larger issue: unauthorized drone activity near the fire zones. This unusual visibility around local homes, including Affleck's, was due to the nature of the investigation, though it seems it was purely circumstantial, tied to the broader efforts to address aerial threats to emergency response teams. As of January 13th, the Palisades fire has wreaked havoc across Los Angeles, burning through over 23,000 acres of land. Despite the heroic efforts of firefighters, the blaze was still only 14% contained, meaning it was far from being under control. The destruction has been catastrophic, with over 1,200 homes and buildings reduced to rubble. Tragically, the fire has claimed the lives of at least 8 people, adding to the emotional toll for the residents affected. The scope of the devastation is staggering, with entire neighborhoods lost and families displaced. Fire crews are working tirelessly to contain the flames, but the threat remains high, and new evacuation orders are being issued as the fire continues to spread across dry terrain. For the residents of the Pacific Palisades and surrounding areas, the fire is not just a natural disaster. It's an ongoing nightmare that's completely transformed their communities. In addition to the devastating Palisades fire, another major wildfire, the Eaton Fire, has been ravaging Los Angeles County. As of the latest reports, the Eaton Fire has burned through a staggering 14,000 acres of land, and while firefighters have made progress in containing it, only about 33% of the fire is under control. The devastation caused by this fire is just as severe. Over 1,400 structures have been destroyed, including homes, businesses, and historical landmarks. The emotional toll has been just as catastrophic, with at least 11 lives lost and many more residents displaced from their homes. Fire crews are continuing to battle the blaze with everything they've got, but it remains a dire situation. The spread of the Eaton Fire is being fueled by dry conditions and high winds, which have made it even harder to keep the flames in check. Communities near the fire's path are on edge, with evacuation orders issued in several areas, as the fire continues to encroach on neighborhoods. For the thousands of people affected by both the Palisades and Eaton fires, the situation is nothing short of a nightmare, losing homes, possessions, and in some cases, loved ones. And with the fires still raging, the long-term impact on the region will likely be felt for years to come. The financial ramifications of the Los Angeles County wildfires are beyond what anyone could have imagined. Experts from Wells Fargo Security have estimated that the insured losses from both the Palisades and Eaton fires could reach an eye-watering $30 billion. This colossal figure isn't just about the homes and businesses that have been reduced to rubble. It accounts for the damage to infrastructure, the loss of valuable property, and the broader economic disruption that the fires have caused. Thousands of residents have lost everything, and many of them are now relying on insurance payouts to rebuild their lives. However, the claims process is expected to be a long and complex one, and not all homeowners may receive full compensation for their losses. On top of that, the destruction of businesses has had a ripple effect on local economies, with many small businesses now struggling to recover, let alone reopen. The fires have also caused severe damage to the region's agricultural industry, with crops destroyed and livestock lost. The impact on California's insurance industry is significant, as companies face an overwhelming number of claims in the wake of the fires. And as the fires are still burning, it's difficult to fully grasp the long-term financial toll. This $30 billion estimate may just be the beginning. The economic recovery for the region will be a slow and expensive process, with much of the region's infrastructure and housing stock requiring years to rebuild, all while the emotional cost of the devastation continues to weigh heavily on affected families. The impact of these fires hasn't just been felt by everyday residents. Celebrities are also speaking out about their experiences and losses. Several high-profile figures have shared how they've been affected by the wildfires, including Jennifer Garner, Paris Hilton, and Miles Teller. These fires have not only destroyed homes, but have also deeply disrupted the lives of those in the public eye. Some have had to evacuate their properties at a moment's notice, while others are dealing with the emotional and physical toll of watching their neighborhoods burn. For many of these celebrities, the fires have been a stark reminder of how unpredictable and destructive nature can be, regardless of fame or fortune. In an already volatile year for California, these fires have hit hard, leaving even those with the means to rebuild facing deep emotional struggles. The outpouring of support from the celebrity community has been significant, but it also highlights the overwhelming sense of loss and uncertainty that everyone is facing, whether famous or not. The fires have brought people together in unexpected ways, as public figures have used their platforms to raise awareness and rally for aid, helping those who have lost everything rebuild their lives. The devastation of these fires has prompted many celebrities to speak out about their own personal experiences with the wildfires and how they've been impacted. Stars like Jennifer Garner, Paris Hilton, and Miles Teller have all shared the emotional toll that this crisis has had on their lives. These high-profile individuals, often thought to live in a different world, have found themselves facing the same fears and challenges as everyday residents. Jennifer Garner expressed how her family had to evacuate quickly, while Paris Hilton revealed how close she came to losing her home in the midst of the flames. Miles Teller, in an emotional interview, described how he had to flee his home and later learned that his entire neighborhood had been destroyed by the Eaton fire. The sense of helplessness was palpable in their stories. While their fame may have allowed them to escape some of the financial and logistical challenges, it's clear that the emotional and psychological toll of the fires has been universal. In addition to dealing with their own losses, these celebrities have rallied to support relief efforts, using their platforms to raise awareness and call for donations to help those who have lost everything. It's a reminder that no one, regardless of their status, is immune to the devastating impact of these fires. Actor Miles Teller opened up about the frightening experience of being caught in the chaos of the Eaton fire. He recalled how, just hours before the fire got too close, he had packed up his important belongings, passports, family photos, and birth certificates, and left his home, unsure of what the next few hours would bring. Teller described the surreal moment when he woke up to find his block featured on the news, surrounded by smoke and flames, and he couldn't tell if his house had survived. His need for closure was intense, so he drove straight to his neighborhood to see for himself. As he approached the area, the scale of the destruction hit him hard. His block was completely leveled, with homes reduced to ashes. He shared how the experience left him breathless, feeling a mix of shock, fear, and disbelief. Teller's emotional account of the fire's devastation highlighted the deep personal impact, not just for him, but for countless families across Los Angeles who are grappling with the same overwhelming sense of loss. Miles Teller's heart-wrenching story is just one example of the widespread devastation caused by these fires. As he drove through his neighborhood, he realized it wasn't just his own home he was worried about. It was the entire community. His block, which was once full of life and homes, was now unrecognizable, with every structure gone. The emotional toll of seeing his childhood memories reduced to ash was overwhelming. But Teller's experience wasn't unique. For many people, the fires didn't just destroy property, they wiped out their sense of home and community. Entire neighborhoods in the Palisades and Eaton fire zones have been flattened, leaving nothing behind but charred ruins. It's a reminder of how fragile everything can be in the face of such an unpredictable natural disaster. In many cases, families are now faced with rebuilding not only their homes but their entire lives, a task that will take years to complete. The fires have united people in grief and shared loss, but they've also sparked a sense of collective resilience as these communities come together to rebuild what's been taken from them. The loss of material possessions is difficult enough, but for many, the emotional toll of these fires is what will last the longest. As Miles Teller mentioned, it wasn't just about losing a house. It was about losing memories, photographs, and heirlooms that can never be replaced. For many families, it's the loss of their personal history, the things that make a house feel like home. As these fires have ripped through neighborhoods, it's become clear that the true cost of the disaster goes far beyond the $30 billion in insured losses. It's the emotional devastation that lingers, the uncertainty of rebuilding, and the trauma that survivors will carry with them for the rest of their lives. Celebrities, residents, and firefighters alike are all grappling with these profound emotional losses, reminding us that recovery from a disaster like this isn't just about restoring homes, but also healing broken hearts. Despite the overwhelming loss, the community's resilience shines through in the ongoing recovery efforts. Both residents and organizations have banded together to help those affected by the fires. Volunteers, first responders, and even celebrities are doing what they can to aid recovery. Fundraisers have been set up, shelters have been established, and supplies are being sent to the hardest-hit areas. The road to recovery will be long and difficult, but the outpouring of support from across the country shows that the human spirit is far more resilient than the fires that threaten it. The fires may have taken homes, memories, and lives, but they have also brought out the best in people, showing that even in the face of unimaginable loss, there's hope for rebuilding and recovery. While the fires in Los Angeles have devastated communities, they are part of a larger pattern of increasing wildfire activity in California and beyond. Experts are warning that climate change is making wildfires more frequent and more intense, and the fires in LA are a stark reminder of the growing dangers posed by a warming planet. With more extreme weather conditions expected in the coming years, the fires have forced a nationwide conversation about the need for better fire prevention, climate action, and support for affected communities. As the world grapples with the reality of a changing climate, the hope is that lessons from these fires will lead to stronger, more proactive measures to protect vulnerable communities and prevent such widespread destruction in the future.